Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness, how about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to week 21 of the 2020-2021 PGA season, the Players Championship. Up here on a later than usual Monday evening. Apologize for that, but hopefully with the early pod yesterday that held you over long enough. I was busy with Mr. Gould working through the final kinks of the Green Machine, which will go live, we'll say no later than tomorrow morning. Hopefully get it out tonight. I will do a short video just showing how to get through it. It's the foundation piece. We will continue to add and build onto it. There's probably 15 more things that we'll add easily between now and the Masters. But wanted to get this version out for the players, which is a tremendous improvement from the old one, just it itself. I'll go more into that in the video. It'll be quick. I'll show you some of the new features, stuff like that. Hopefully get to do all that late tonight. No worse than tomorrow morning. You'll have plenty of time to build and do all your things on the Green Machine and use our tools on the website. We'll get to more of that here in a little bit. That's not why you guys are here. Recap last week real quick. I did some of this I didn't do a lot of this. I did the, typical weather, course, all that kind of stuff last night or yesterday on that pod. But if you want to go listen to it, it's real short, not too long. For me, it was a weird week, very weird week. Had plenty of Bryson, had plenty of, DeChambeau, had plenty of all the right people, or a lot of the right people up top, I should say. But didn't have a lot of the down pieces, I guess. Friday night I'm sitting there and for the first time in a long time, literally getting blanked on my main slate. Like I had 0 lineups caching, and already started to kind of deep dive in. What did I mess up? What did I do wrong? And there was a couple key pieces that definitely messed up between Reed, Cam Davis, the lower end guys. I hit a few of them, but definitely missed on guys like Kyle Stanley, Aaron Wise, which I didn't have a ton of ownership on them, but it just seemed I had enough of those bottom guys that made it all, hard to get the right lineup together. Luckily, and I didn't have any Hovland. He was my fade. I decided to not eat that chalk. I didn't have any Burns, but I didn't have any Hovland. So, Burns didn't hurt me. Burns didn't hurt me at all because he missed the cut, so that was good. Hovland's, I think, leading it at the 50 or 48, or he's right up there. So definitely looked terrible Friday night. And I went back and looked, and I was like, damn, I had Bryson, I had Spieth, I had Willie Z, I had Kirk. And this is last night I'm looking, and finally, went over the weekend, had a good, decent weekend. I still lost 60% of my bankroll, but considering I was sitting there blanked on Friday night, I was like, kind of feels like a win, even though it's not. I just had too much Davis. Molinari was another one. Reed, like I said, Reed misses the cut by 1. Seemed like he was just kept fighting. He'd get inside what we thought would be the cut number. Then he'd drop 1. Then he'd get inside and drop 1, missed it by 1. See how that affects him this week as far as ownership and stuff. And then just too many of the lower guys. I had some that hit, HV3, stuff like that, but Wise, Stanley, guys like that just didn't hit. Even though I had Koch, I had Keegan, I had Hoffman, which having all those guys as we got to the end Sunday allowed me to get back into a lot of things and do some caching to kind of salvage the week. Showdown was up and down. Round 3, I was in first and second most of the last 9 in the big $15, 50K up top. Just couldn't close. It's kind of the theme of the weekend for me. Kokrak doubles 18 after a hell of a round. Spieth's having his, tremendous getting in from everywhere on Saturday. And then he goes par, bogey, par to go +1 the final 3 holes Saturday, which Saturday was a little bit easy scoring. And I wanted to finish in 5th in that. So that kind of covered showdown for the week. I think it was 2,000 to 5th. That day, I think I made 2,600. Round 14 was doing well, but kind of like a lot of other people, all things considered, doing well. We had plenty of guys that scored 0, 1, 2, a little bit of negative. But the final 3 holes, wow. Like I had Werenski, Hoffman, Spieth, all those guys just, especially Werenski, he's right there. Has a chance to potentially post a number to tell Bryson and those guys to come get him. I think he was 9 under going into 17. He goes double and then a bogey, 3 over last 2 holes. Hoffman made a run, 3 birdies out of 4 holes, and then I think he went 2 or 3 over. Spieth went 2 or 3 over. And a lot of people did. 17, 18 was tough, but held on to min cash there in the 555 Sunday. But I was up to 6th at one time with like 6 holes left for the average guy. So definitely a weird week in general. In general, I tend to like the tough contest weeks, like tough courses, tough challenges, where it's not just birdie galore, birdie streak, scoring, especially showdown. Because in showdown, it seems like if you don't have that one guy that goes off early or no one's on, 2 to 4% guy that goes out and shoots 9 under with birdie streaks or an eagle and stuff, it's just hard to catch up, especially in the big GPPs. Whereas in this kind of scoring and difficult courses, the elite cream seems to rise to the crop more than often. So I tend to like that, and I think this week will be easier than what they've seen the last 2 weeks, but still, I talked about it yesterday. Plenty of holes to blow up on, plenty of guys here. Unlike last week, I feel like this week, guys that can finish top 10 here and miss the cut just as easily. I don't have course history rated quite as high, although there are guys that play this fairly well most years in and out, DJ, Webb, stuff like that. But those guys are also elite guys. When you start getting down to, where it's really tough to make your cuts, it's hit or miss. I mean, you got guys that'll go 35th, miscut, 12th, miscut. So there's no just the way the course lays out and how 1 or 2 holes can kind of knock a guy out of it. And this course does present better scoring opportunities. That it's hard to come back from a big number, unlike last week, with such low scoring overall, or high scoring, depending on how you look at it. It definitely presents a challenge. So it'd be fun to get into it. Obviously, massive tournaments on DK. They're basically got it up just like a major, just like the Masters or anything like that. There's 2 millionaire makers, among all kinds of other contests. They've already got the Fantasy Golf World Championship qualifiers out, which looks like PGA got a big boost to that this year. If you look at what the value of the seat is worth, it's like 5 times what it was worth in prior years, or at least 3 to 5 times what it was worth. So that's good. PGA is on the map. Love it. I'll obviously be trying to qualify into that. I don't think so this week because I got a game plan already. I don't want to mess with qualifying for the Fantasy Golf World Championships. There'll be plenty of opportunities to do that. I may do something if they have a queue on showdowns or something, but main slate I'll probably pass for now and kind of focus on what I got going elsewhere. Betting wise, last week matchups did good. Winning week. I'm close to getting all that reconciled and caught up. Still no hard drive. It's now in my hands to decide if I want to let them go to level 3 data recovery or just keep building and redoing it all over again. A lot of the stuff I've rebuilt in the last few weeks, so I'll get that stuff out and updated. No first round leader outright. We had Spieth there, obviously up. He was in it for probably to like the last 4 holes, 5 holes. Then Werenski was a Thursday night ad. I've had decent luck of getting good ads on Thursday night. He was 250 to 1. So that was obviously a big sweat Sunday because he was, -9, I believe, with 2 to go. Maybe 3 to go. I can't remember what he did on the par 5. But for sure was -9 through 15. I think 16 as well. Can't remember right off the top of my head. A lot going on in the last 24 hours. But you know, I was I don't have the luxury yet of having a place where you can cash out, but man, did I ever want to. If he would have posted like a 9 under in the house, maybe even a 10 under, I definitely would have wished I had that option because I mean, I would imagine have been a pretty decent cash out at that particular time, especially with so much trouble. I don't think it would have changed Bryson because Westwood was right there pushing him. I don't think it would have changed his mentality of the way he handled anything. You know, if Wawrinski or, you know, even Connors had a chance, he eagled 16. But all these guys seem to struggle there on a one hole or the other coming in. So it was at least fun to have that sweat. I mean, in this kind of, in the way we do this game, quote unquote, betting and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he was 9 under through 16. I just looked, and then went +3 the last 2 holes, Wawrinski. So, you know, if he pars the 17th and 18th, which would have been like a birdie yesterday, I think there was only 1 or 2 birdies all day. You know, post 9 under, I think it would at least, you know, give a little bit of thought to those guys. But I still think it would wind up being Westwood or DeCham. And obviously, DeCham closed the deal. You know, great on him. And actually, I was impressed by Westwood as well with the way he hung in there all day. But I mean, outright world, you know, we've hit 7, I think, first round leaders or outright combined since January, since, you know, the start of this part of the season. So I'll take that, and I'll take having good sweat there on Sunday. Just didn't get it done. We'll lock and load this week in an event that's historically very unpredictable. Many different types of winners. I mentioned yesterday our boy Adon hit Siwoo here the first time he won, or the only time, but it was when he was probably 500 or 600 to 1. I can't remember what it was, but so long shots are live here certainly, and there's no player type per se that fits this course. Like, we got to have bombers, you got to have this, you got to have that. It's a complete game, and have to have a lot of things go your way. You got to be able to putt well throughout the week, survive the big, you know, blow up holes. Just, you know, sometimes saving bogey and getting out, or saving a par is definitely better than pressing it this week. So before we get into this week, remember promos going on right now. Masters. Use the code Masters, get 30% off any package. We went ahead and built into the API and the system, so you don't have to use a code to get the free trial. So it's active now. If you're listening to this, you go pick any package out, use the code Masters, you get 30% off. You will get your first week free. You won't get billed. So you cancel before that week's up, then, you know, if we aren't your thing, that's fine. We won't be everybody's thing, but I certainly want to invite everybody to come try out the new site, the new tools, the new green machine. At least try it out for free. If you don't like it, cancel. No harm done. If you love it, you're on. And you get 30% off moving forward. So great deal. We'll run that this week. Probably we'll only run it one other time, which would be for the actual Masters week. So if you're going to do it, I'd do it now because you get the free trial this week of everything. So our deal is split up between sports and all that stuff. If you do the full site, which includes all the tools, you get access to all the sports, all the tools, all the other stuff. You can use it on the content analysis package as well. It just didn't come with any of the tools. And if I'm going to do a free trial, I probably want to at least try everything out. So I would do that. I would at least do the month, because that'll get you, because your free trial week, it'll get you through the Masters plus another week. So, you know, you get great tournaments coming up. We got Honda next week, which is, you know, near and dear to our hearts here. WGC match play, Valero, and then the Masters, I believe. I think that's, yeah, Honda, WGC, Valero, then the Masters. So 4 weeks from today. So looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. Come give us a tryout if you've been a sub in the past, or, you know, always wanted to try it. No better time to do that than now. Also this week, use the code PLAYERS for 30% off any gear in the store. I got the OG hat and the shirts on right now. So if you want to get your gear, you've been putting it off, get it now, 30% off anything you want in the store. GC subs, if you are a sub now, remember I sent out a code in the email, and I put it in Slack, and I posted it as well. If you missed it, or if you sign up today or this week and you want to buy gear with the GC code, you get an extra percentage off. Send me a DM on Twitter or Slack, and I will get you hooked up. March to the Masters promo is going on with that. So you get all that stuff I talked about. Plus, you get into our drawing. So if you sign up to get entered into this, you have to sign up for an annual. and follow through with it. So you can sign up for an annual today. You get the 7-day free trial. If you don't cancel, you're entered. That's as easy as it gets. If you cancel, no harm done, no big deal. We appreciate you giving us a shot. If you upgrade to full site access, you current subs, you're in it as well. You'll see the promos on Gups at Gups Corner, my Twitter as well at Gup_GC. The picture you get, the winner gets to choose from one of the three: a brand new Titleist driver, which is about $600 retail value, with your choice to pick the shaft, strength, and all that kind of stuff you want. A set of custom Vokey made SM8 wedges, which is about a $400 retail value. And then we're throwing in the custom options. So you will build them with our boy Steve to your exact how you want it done. It's got Gups Corner on there now on the image. That was just for the promo. You can make it whatever you want. You can keep it Gups Corner. You can make it, if you're an OU fan, if you're a Texas, whatever you want to do with it, you can do with it. You can name each wedge like some of the players do. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. It's covered by us. And Steve knows that as well. So that's awesome. And then the last one is our GC gift pack. You'll see there all the merchandise you get, plus a tons of Masters items that you'll get to choose. 3 to 4 items from there, depending on which ones they are. That's about a $400 to $500 value between all that stuff as well. So first winner will get to choose. Second winner will get to choose out of the next two, and then the third winner will get whatever's left over. So that'll be given out on the Monday after the Masters. So you have now until April 11th at midnight, basically, to get signed up with us and give us a shot. Rate and review us on iTunes. I'll be doing giveaways either late Tuesday, depending on how contests are filling up. I want to do it Wednesday morning, but we'll see how things are going. If you rate and review us on iTunes, I will be doing a special giveaway just for that. It'll be between DFS money, GC merchandise, stuff like that. If you don't remember if you've done it, go do it again. It doesn't stop you from doing it again. At least you're in the drawing. I would get that done today or in the morning because sometimes it takes a little while for it to show up. I'm going to try to pull it. What I want to do is pull it early Wednesday morning so that you guys that do it tonight or in the morning, it gets into the data so I can pull it and get you guys into the drawing. So get that done for us. Subscribe and like this video on YouTube. That helps us out a lot. We're trying to grow that platform. I got big things coming as we continue to grow now that we got the foundation of the site built. The next 4 to 6 weeks are still going to be focused on the site, the tools, and all that stuff, but definitely wanting to get this, the YouTube stuff up. A lot of videos, one-off videos, teaching videos, educational, all kinds of things I got planned for that. You guys liking and subscribe to it helps us. Even if you watch the audio only or listen to the audio only, hop over to YouTube, click the subscribe button, like the video, and then in the comments, leave who is your favorite fade in the 9K range. I think the 9K range is going to be talked about the most this week for a good reason. A lot of big names in there that probably have, in some minds, as much or close to win equity as the higher price guys this week. I want to know who you feel comfortable fading in that range, and I'll be doing a giveaway on that as well. So last week, the last 3 videos, so last week's Cup with Gup movers and shakers, last night's video, and this video. If you leave a comment on all 3, in each video I told you what I want to hear, you get 3 times in the drawing. So as many as you want to do, I'll be doing, when I do the iTunes giveaway, I'll do the YouTube giveaway as well, which will be DFS money and more GC merch. So tons of giveaways come Wednesday, all free to get into. Let's get this listener league from last week going, and we'll get into the players. Last week's winner was Record 62, had a great week. I saw he won Kenny Kim and Tambo's contest as well. I would assume he had that lineup in a lot of stuff, so congrats to him. He had 465 points. Casey, Speed, Zalatoris, Fleetwood, Connors, and Munoz. A lot of those I was on. Actually, all of them I had pieces of, except Connors, which kind of sucked because I literally was kind of down to the last couple guys. And I want to say Binion and Connors was somewhere around the same price. I can't remember 100% now, but there was 2 or 3 guys right there. And at the end of the day, I kind of made a cut on Connors out of my big kind of 20 lineups I did. I think I threw some Connors in the $15, which I do 50 in, or I did 50 in last week. So, but tremendous single bullet lineup. He won it. Actually did all right this week in the listener league. Excuse me, I haven't been doing well, but I got 15th, so I was kind of happy about that. Great job to him. I forgot our boy Dub KJ, but I sent him his invite too today. Both of them have already accepted the invite, so they're into the Listener League Champions finale that we will do later on in the summer. Thank you guys. This week's is up. We let DK down last week. We did not feel it, but they went ahead and increased it anyways because I trust Gup's Corner community. Please go in and enter now. 3 max, 20 what? $22, $22.50 for all 3. 600 entries, flat payout structure, 1K to first, limited rake. Everything you guys have asked for, it's on there. Let's fill that thing up. I like to fill it up like early Wednesday so that they know, hey, we're sorry we didn't get it filled last week. We still covered their quote unquote rake. We were close. We only missed by like 40 people, I think, something like that. And I think a lot of that to do with, I had several people that didn't realize that how early the golf started. I know I talked about it on E9, but Habit, I guess, is the first one that really, like, if you're in my time zone, it was 6 a.m. So I guess Cali would be 4 a.m. And so you really have to get in by Wednesday night, or it's kind of hard to get up and get that stuff reserved or into it Thursday. I'm going to assume these golf contests are going to fill pretty fast. I would not wait to go take your look at those because the NBA is also on a break right now. So the All-Star break, obviously last night was the All-Star game, and our NBA channel crushed last night. We actually had the optimal lineup you could have. One of our subs, he played it in lower stakes. I thought my heart broke for him. He would have won the $15 outright by almost 2 points. He would have won basically any contest he was in. But bankroll management, like if you're not going to do that all the time, don't make a one-off. But he was kind of crushed. He thought, man, I should have just put 1 in the $15 or whatever it was. But he still won over 2K on a small entry. Great night for everybody in that channel. It was fun stuff. But they're on a break till Wednesday night, which they have a big slate Wednesday night, but a lot of people are going to get this golf stuff reserved early Wednesday. If you're used to going in there Wednesday afternoon or something, you might not see some contests. They may be full that you're not used to. So I would get in there and take a look today or in the morning, at least get lined up what you think you're going to be into in case they fill early. Course preview, remember I put it on yesterday's pod. Go take a listen to it. Also, Kenny Kim will be out with his pod tonight. With Tambo, and then he'll have his full write-up. He already posted it on the site, so you can go check it out if you're a member. The biggest thing I'll emphasize is I've seen all kinds of discussions today on Twitter. These greens are not Bermuda to putt on this week, 100%. If you hear anything else otherwise, they don't know what they're talking about. This is Bermuda. It's dead. It's dormant. That happens here a lot where I'm at. It's a mix. Sometimes, depending on how close you get, but where Jacksonville is, up there in that northeast, it's similar, because people think, well, it's in Florida still. They've been green and they've been putting on Bermuda. It's not that warm there yet. It's a bent POA trivial type mix, and there's ryegrass overseed all throughout the course. So don't use anything Bermuda this week. I'm telling you, you'll be fooling yourself. What I personally used, and I think it did a good job last year, I've putted on this stuff before when I've been on Bermuda greens that had overseed in it. And to get through the winter and stuff, it puts a lot closer to bent than anything else. Now you can find a few of those East Coast courses, especially up in the Northeast. So we talk about from time to time when it'll say it has POA, and we say this ain't POA like West Coast POA. It's a little bit different. You can find a couple of those if you want to. I think in general, if you just want a good view of it, use bent. I think that'll be the best. It's not perfect, but it's as good as what you would have if you want to look at any kind of putting splits this week. But do not use Bermuda. That's the only thing I'll say. Everything else you can go listen tomorrow or yesterday if you want to. Weather this week, not crazy at all. No rain, plenty of sunshine, plenty of warm weather. Actually, the mornings look pretty warm as well. Just a little bit of wind, 10 to 15 mile, nothing crazy. I think it's going to be beautiful weather. I think that's one reason why the course could play a little bit easier. Greens be a little more receptive. We only got to see 1 year of this in 2019 with the moving back to March. So we'll see how we got 1 round last year. And that 1 round, I mentioned yesterday, I talked about the top 10 scoring. They were lighting it up. Matsu scored 9 under, but several other guys were 7 under, 5 under, 4 under. But at the same time, there were still plenty of big numbers, +6, +3, +2. So a little mix and match, kind of like the last couple of weeks. You can get really low, but you can also blow up. So I'm going to go with the cut -2. So in 2019, it was a -1 cut, but they had the MDF that year. And it was a rather big MDF at -1. So I think with T65, it's going to be -2 and could flirt with -3. That's somewhere in the range I think of. You can tell it's going to be a long night. I'm drinking coffee still at 9 o'clock at night. So much to do this week, though. We don't have time for sleep. We'll catch up on that after lock or something. Winner this week, I think we're going to be up to around, maybe not when Webb won it, but remember, he won by like 4 strokes, shooting 18 under. But I think 15 to 17s in play. I'll peg it at 16 for now on this Monday night. But I think you go right around in there. I think you're going to need to score. Avoid the big numbers. And I just think the course plays a little easier in March than May on some holes. Now, I mentioned last night that there are some holes that actually can play harder if that wind's coming out of the north. But, we'll get to that as we get closer to the week. Prior winners, just kind of give you a example if you missed last night's pod. Rory, Webb, Siwoo, Day, Fowler, Tiger, KJ Choi, Stinson, Garcia, Phil. Runner-ups, Garcia, Poulter, Allenby, Fowler, Strillman, Furyk, Garcia again, Kisner, Usti, Poulter, Walker, Schauffele. I don't think you could say all that and go, oh, it's this kind of player. I do think one thing's common is pretty good ball striking and pretty good iron play into the green, which obviously includes ball striking. But I think to be able to control your misses, and then when you do, to be able to get up and down, save par, and get out of dodge without getting the big numbers, is kind of where I'm focusing. Didn't change much for today as far as stats. I'm looking at ball striking, good approach around the green, opportunities inside 12 feet, par 5, DK scoring, four par 5s on here. 3 of them are pretty gettable in 2 for a lot of the field. And then birdie or betters, because I do think it's going to be somewhat of a, not scoring fest, but more on the scoring side than we've seen the last couple of weeks. A lot of guys are new to the course. Some of it's because this is the biggest field they've had in a while. It is still T65 and ties. I mentioned that earlier. But you have upwards, I think, like 20 to 30 guys that have not played it since 2016. Salary ranges with Brooks out. We have 4 in the 10K, 8 in the 9K, 10 in the 8K, 40 in the 7K, and 92 in the 6K. That includes Anibal Lahiri, who replaced Brooks. So obviously, you only got 4 guys up top. Pricing was already priced down, quote unquote soft, as some people say. Very buildable builds this week because you can literally start anywhere you want at 9K or above. Lots of value in the 9K. But you're not really paying up for the 10K. So I mean, if we start getting into the industry pulse of fade the 10K, I don't mind playing the 10K because I can build just as easily up there if we're going to have low ownership. I don't think that'll happen in general, but I think from 9,000 to 11,200, what you'll see, and this happens a lot in majors, a lot in these WGCs type deal, pretty spread out ownership in general because a lot of guys get utilized and usage overall. I don't think you're going to have big decisions to make up there. It's just going to be more about who do you feel like fading so you're not spread out so thin. I think by and large, most of them will be owned fairly tightly. You're not, I mean, splitting hairs, and especially the talent level of these guys, it's going to come down to, all right, if I want to get leverage on the field in the contest I'm in, where do I feel comfortable being light or fading versus who do I want to be overweight on? As opposed to just being on all of them per se, and you want to not have much leverage on the field. I think the key decisions this week are going to be up there because I do think you'll see some of these guys up there, and there's enough of them. I think top 48 of the top 50 in the world are here that it's not all of them are going to miss being up top. So it's not like you can afford to, last week, obviously D-Chan wanted being up there, but a lot of the big guys weren't even, Hovland fell apart. Hatton even fell down. Well, he was horrible. Then he went great. And then he fell back, which was still 21st, which was okay. But, by and large, what do we have there? 12 guys from 9,000 and above. It's going to be hard to stomach who you're fading. You got to get over that. You're just going to have to make your calls, do all your research, listen to us. Go back and forth, use the Slack, deep dive, all that stuff. And at the end of the day, go, where do I want to gain my advantage this week? That's where I'm going to try to be different. And then I'm going to, get my ownership, exposure spread out down below, mainly because this is a week. And I'll talk about this in the final thoughts in my glorious nucleus article that I put out. I'll be changing my pool amounts this week because I don't necessarily care to be overweight on a lot of guys this week. I will make my stands where need be, but I want to spread out a little bit because of how volatile this tournament is. Like, I don't want to be huge overweight on a bunch of, next to below. I mean, what's the right word? Not elite, but average to above average players that don't have the consistency and upside of the top players. Um, the and the top players can miss a cut anywhere as well. But by and large, when you're looking at the grand scheme of things, I may have more of my lower part of the pool may be bigger than normal, and I just try to be even on leverage a lot more and hope I get the top piece right, and then let the combinations work itself out. And if I miss on the top, shit, that's part of the game. I mean, that's just something we got to deal with. But you can't have everybody, or even if you have 150 lineups, it's still not enough. Not in a 154 man field. That alone, compared to last week, where in 6 to 6, like I said, it was only 9 to 11% in some places, some 7%. You looked at some of the single entry stuff, and that was with only 123 guys before all the withdrawals we had. This week, mathematically, if it was 65 on the number, you're going to have almost 60% of the field miss the cut. It may not be that much because if we get some ties in there, but roughly 55% of the field is going to miss the cut. So it's tough in general. And then if you get some chalk missing, we could see some sub 5% 6 to 6s. So be interesting this week. Can't wait for it. Sweet 16 for me. If you're new to the pod, appreciate it. What I do is the 4 major zones, ranges. I give you 3 picks and a bubble boy that gives us 16 guys. I give a fade, a sleeper, 4 gut play fills that are lower in my rankings, but I still like them. And then I do our Monkey Knife Fight betting segment, top 5 and 2 that pop. We wrap it up with 1 and done, and we get out of here. Sweet 16 for me, 9K and above. I'm going to go with DJ. I think there's enough places to pair him with great guys. The 54th at WGC with a horrible Sunday. I'm not putting a lot of weight into it. I don't want to say DJ checks out when he's kind of out of it, but I kind of think DJ checks out when he's out of it, and not check out in the sense of I don't care, but like money's not a factor necessarily for him. And I'm not saying he goes into a tournament with this mindset by any means, but I feel, if once he knows I ain't winning this thing, he's probably more about let's just get this thing over with and on to the next one. I'm not putting a lot of weight into the 54th. He's still the best player in the world when he's peaking. I don't think he's fallen off too much. He got a nice little break. His last 4 tournaments here are 28th, a 12th, a 17th, a 5th. He's number 1 in my stats, number 5 in my course fit, number 5 in my recent form. I'll have at least equal shares of him. I like him a lot this week. We'll see if that's unique or if like everybody's thinking like that. Like, why would I not play DJ? I don't know. There's so many good options here this week. I don't know if he's just going to get stupid owned or not. I don't think so, honestly. But I'll have my fair share of them. Next is Cantli. My biggest worry here is, like, if he wouldn't have withdrawn, I think he would have been uber chalk this week. Price down, 9,200. 22nd and 23rd, he did miss a cut. He did shoot. I think he was one of the guys that shot 5 under on the first round last year. A 15th at Genesis. He's number 1 in my recent form rankings, but he did the withdrawal. We have to take it for what it is. Said he was dehydrated, fatigued, whatever. So stomach issues. I'm not putting a lot into it. I'm sure he'll be asked if he gets interviewed. We'll try to get enough pressers there that hopefully we get to pick up on it. With that being said, I think a lot of people liked him here last year. He's very cheap in that range with a lot of great players. I don't think I'll play a chalky Cantli. I'll just choose to be different elsewhere. But I'm very torn. Is people just gonna be like, what was the withdrawal about, or they just not care and they go, I like Cantli. He's gonna rate out well for most people. That's gonna be the toss up for me there. But just out of the gate, I do like him. Next one's Reed. He's not super high in the rankings. And I don't think he'll be high owned. He generally isn't, but 9,000 right on the number is huge flexibility. I think he'll be lower owned, so that's why I like him. I won't have to get super overexposed. I liken this to like Brooks at waist. I think he'll be in that right around 10 to 12% max. Maybe even under 10% with so many options. He missed the cut this week. Not coming in great form, but he did get a 9th at the WGC. He doesn't have the best history here. It's just average. So I think he'll go under the radar, and with his around the green game and iron game and all that stuff, I'll take my chances, but I don't have to be super. I mean, if my prediction is right, he's 8 to 12%. I mean, I could have 15 to 17% and be just fine on him. So I like Reed this week, 9,000. And then my last one was JT. I would have the only reason why he's a bubble boy is I'm JT's an industry favorite. He gets talked up a lot. Had a 15th at the WGC after missing the cut at Genesis. His history here is a third and missed cut 11th and a 35th. I'll be interested to see, is he more on the chalky side, or is he one that people are just passing on because he's not really coming in here on fire by any means. But the $9,900 price tag seems sexy. So that's the only reason why he's on the bubble boy, because I want to kind of see where I was close between him and Cantli. Like, I don't think I'm going to play both. I think one's going to be chalky in a sense, but we'll see how that works out. 8K range. First one is Scheffler. I just lost him. There we go. Hasn't played here. I think he got in the first round last year. I need to make sure of that. I'll check that for the deep dive stuff. But a 20th at Genesis, a 5th at WGC. Starting to turn it around after a little lull, in his game. I like his iron play. In general, he's great around the green. He's 9th. He's 11th in opportunities inside 12 feet. We know he can make a ton of birdies when he gets going. He does have a tendency to bogey, so a little bit worry about that. But 8,900, I actually think he may go overlooked a little bit with some of the other options up right above him and then below him. Berger's right below him. I think Berger will be a favorite this week. So be interested to see where he comes on ownership. I think I'm going to get a little bit of edge on him, but I like Scheffler this week. Next is Jday. Had plenty of them last week. Had his moments. Got eaten Sunday, just like most everybody. Finished 31st, but he's continually to show positive signs and playing well. His history here is pretty good. First, 60th, 5th, and 8th the last 4 years. So outside of 2017, he's been inside the top 8 with a win. $8,000 seems like a great price for a guy I legitimately think can win this tournament. So anytime I have a guy in that situation, I'm going to be on him, and I like him a lot. Next guy is the same way, Matsu. I talked about him last night or yesterday. I was recording during the deal. He did finish strong. He finished 18th. So as horrible as we think he's been playing, his last two tourneys, he's finished 15th and 18th. Obviously, he shot 9 under here last year. His last 4 years before that, he had a 7th, a 22nd, a missed cut, and an 8th. Again, remember on these missed cuts, you'll hear that consistently. DJ is one of the few that hasn't missed a cut here. Webb, the guy I'm going to talk about here in a second. So I like Matsu. I don't know, because the stats aren't going to pop by any means. He's going to look ugly trending. You got to feel like he feels comfortable in this situation. And 8,700, I think, with Berger's right there, I think Berger would garnish a ton more ownership than him. I think Spieth's going to start getting on radars again at 8,600. Sungjae, you can save $400. So again, I think I can get low ownership there at high upside. That's kind of going to be my theme this week. So I'll take Matsu, $8,700. My bubble boy was Scott. He's not super high in the overall rankings, but man, the course history here is awesome. He didn't play last week, which I kind of like. Got a little break. Maybe comes back. His last 4 years here, a 12th, a 6th, 11th, a 12th. So never finished outside of 12th. $8,100, just like Jday, just like Matsu. I get a guy that I legitimately think could win this. Top 10 seems pretty strong. He's not coming in with great form, but he's not horrible. A 38th at Genesis, 54th at WGC, but remember, it was DJ finished 54th, right? So it was just one of those weeks, like that Sunday, if you were out, like you were just, you're battling and you're just trying to get done, right? So I'm not putting a lot into that. He's down in my rankings for a reason, but I think if he kind of just goes under the radar because of all that, that's a great play for us at $8,100. But he is on the bubble boy just because he's not quite high up on everything, but good enough on the course fit side. 7K, this is just getting old now. Willie Z, rinse and repeat. I'm not getting off of him. I haven't been off of him. I've been on him as early as anybody. Talked him up late last year. I loved him. Nothing changes for me, right? 15th, 22nd, 10th. Again, shoots one of the better rounds Sunday out of the whole field. The putter. Can he putt? Now, in my putting splits, he's in the top 25 this week. So limited field, but maybe this is something he can, he does find and does well on. He did play in the Corn Ferry tournament that was held at the Pine Valley course, which is on the same property. We had some guys in Slack that played the both, and they said they're not similar as far as layouts and all that. There are some shots and thought thinking that make you think that they are similar stuff, similar grass and all that kind of stuff. But he was leading it going into Sunday. I think he shot +1, but $7,600 for him. He's a guy that just tremendous upside. He hasn't. I don't even know the last time he didn't make a cut. The pricing shocked me, to be honest. We'll get to it in a little bit, but he was my first auto bet. I bet him at 80. Released it first thing this morning. I almost released it last night when I think it was 66 before everything regenerated overnight, but 80, I nailed it. That's free bet of the week. If you can get it at 80, lock and load. Love Willie Z. 7,600 is just too cheap. I'll eat the chalk if people get on them. I don't care. Next one is Siwoo. I went and looked this up on purpose. Obviously, we know Siwoo said peace out after shooting the 80 or whatever he shot. I'm not putting a lot into that unless we hear something health-wise. Last year, he was 118th in my original model on for this tournament a year ago now. Here was his form coming into last year. Miscut, 27th, miscut. He was in third after that Thursday round before they cut it off. I think he shot -5. He may have shot -7, but I think he was -5 or -7. Matthew shoots -9. So outside of that, he had one of the better rounds of the day. He just loves this place. He's a Pete Dye guy. He won on Pete Dye a few weeks ago. We know that. He's not missed the cut here since 2016. He's got a 23rd, a first, a 63rd, and a 56. So even when he struggled per se, he still made the cut. And if the pricing was a lot higher, I may pause. But at $7,200, you got to play him. 100 to 1, you got to sprinkle on that. If Siwoo at Pete Dye, it's almost an auto bet, and you got to play him. I don't know if he's going to get talked up or not. Obviously, he probably hurt some people last week on the miscut, but I don't care about his form. I just told you a year ago this time he had a miscut, and a 27th. Coming into last year, and he goes out and he's top 3 after one round. So doesn't bother me at all. I'll be on Siwoo. Neiman, ball striker, great iron player. Seems he would fit this course well. I would assume he played round 1 last year, so he's one that I marked as I was going onto the pod to see where he was at. Because other than that, that would have been his first year, I believe, playing this. Let me double check. Yeah, so he hasn't played it. So I want to see if he got his round, which everybody did except for like one guy. Even the books paid out all the Matsu first round leaders, thank God, because I had him. But I'll check that. But 7,700 feels like cheap. He had a 43rd and a 28th coming into it. 31st in stats, 11th in recent form rank. 7,700 again. Just got to make the cut. We see cut makers. You need as many 6-6s as you can get, and who knows what happens on the weekend. All you're concerned about right now is cut makers with upside. When we're talking about probably anybody below 8,000, you're not worried about anything but them making a cut to start with. You need 6-6s this week. It's not going to be a high 6-6. I'm pretty sure. My bubble boy was Connors. I liked Connors. I already had him earmarked as I started doing prep early Saturday, but he came in cheap. He finished strong. I do want to see, does that spike ownership? I don't know if I want to eat a lot of chalky Connors. He's 16th in stats, though, 3rd in recent form, 11th in course fit. Putter came back to bite him a little bit Sunday, but he's scoring a lot better. And in general, he's putting better with this new coach, a new guy he's been with since we heard about that late fall that he made the switch. 7,400 feels stupid cheap for his upside. They can legitimately win here. So I don't think anybody in the 7K is going to get stupidly like 20% owned, but we'll keep our eye on it. That's the only reason why I went bubble boy with him. 6K range. Brian Harmon to kick it off for me, $6,900, 14th in my total model. Good, not great course fit here, but 54th, 53rd, and miscut in an 8th last year. So a little bit better. He did miss the cut, then an 8th. He's 17th in my putting model, 4th in my stat model. You got a 43rd at the Genesis. So there's not much I hate about him. And at $6,900, again, rinse and repeat. We need cut makers. I think feels like a pretty good guy to be in there to make a cut come Friday night. HV3, I'll go back to him. Played well last week, finished 21st, had some great rounded green, looked really, really good last week. Putter still shaky. If he can get that going, who knows. Good history here. He missed a cut in 2019, but before that, a 57th, a 35th, and a 7th. So better. Missed a cut 19, which seemed like a lot of those guys missed at 19. I can't remember what kind of weather or anything we had that year. It was a year Rory won, but you know, $6,700, all the potential in the world with him. He's getting better and better after, you know, he's come off his COVID from way back at the beginning when he had a miss. I think it was the Amex he had a miss, but like him this week. I'll move on from that. Werenski almost made a huge day for us at 250 to 1, but $6,400. Think with the early pricing allowed him to be cheaper than what he could have been. I think that's the low price on him. When I think of this course and you watch him play, I'm like, this kind of feels like a Richie Werenski course. $6,400 is stupid cheap. I'm like, I would legitimately consider him in a 1-3 max right now. A 57th at Genesis, a 4th at API, 23rd. And I like he's played here. A 23rd in 2018, a 47th in 2019. You know, I saw Kenny post this from last year about guys that have won here have had a top 10 or a top 20 in their last start or start before. Well, he got a 4th. I think he's live to win here, and he will probably sneak up on the old betting card at 200 to 1. I'll tell you that for sure. So I like Richie. Bubble Boy was Ryan Moore. Hadn't seen him since the Amex is really kind of why I had him on the bubble. Great history here overall. It was just, you know, and no injury. I don't think there's any injury. I got it marked to double check, but he's another guy, 4 years running, miscut 53rd, 30th, and 20th. So we get, you know, a guy that has continuously got better every single time he's seen this place. He's 19th in my stat model. Putting's always iffy with him, but at $6,800, you got to take that risk. I like him as well down here. Bubble Boy only because I want to make sure there wasn't anything I was missing on the extended time off, but I like him at that price. Fade of the week, again, early Monday. So I'm going to try to project who's going to be 15% or more and give the fade. And for me, it's going to be Spieth. I've been riding him. I've been on him every week. We had him at ways to win. I hadn't jumped off it, and he's had great finishes. He does not play well here. And if you go back to 2 weeks ago, he mentioned that someone asked him about his scheduling. It was at the Genesis press conference, and he mentioned something about, I never do well at the players, or has my number. And so I wanted to get, you know, especially with the different scheduling, wanted to play the API, which seemed to fit my game. Obviously the Arnie connection, but he even admitted he self knew, and this was at least 2 weeks ago, I believe, that this place has his number. His last 4 years here, miscut, 41st, miscut. 2016 was, you know, close to prime Jordan Spieth. So yes, he's coming around. This may be one of those sell high moments just temporarily. Like we had the big ticket on Spieth. I released it many weeks ago, 45 to 1. So I'm going to be in on him here in about 4 weeks for sure. No matter what he does, I don't care because there's history there. History here doesn't seem as great. I guess if everybody tries to jump off, I mean, if he's sub 10% or something, and I'm way off on my early projections, I'll play him. I've been playing him at low ownership percentage. But I think this is a week because now he's done it again. He's top 5. He's right there. I think the general public, especially those big GPPs, you know, the big $20 million maker stuff like that, I think he'll be 15% or more, and I'll be less than the field at least, if not a full fade in spots. Sleeper of the week for me, 5% or less. I'm going with Matthew Neesmith. I know he was kind of high talked up last week somewhat. I don't want to say high, but, you know, he was one of the more populars up there. Missed the cut. I faded him last week because I think he was the highest projected 6K guy. I think that'll burn him a little bit this week. Hasn't played this course yet, but this is overall game. He's 14th in my stat model, 21st in recent form. Love the bounce back spot. That's why I got him less than 5% owned. I think he goes under owned because of last week, and I'll bite on that. And at least, you know, I got him about 3-4%. I don't mind being double the field there and jumping back on the bounce back week with him. He's been playing great before that. I'll go right back to him. Gut feel plays of the week. First one is Poulter. He's 37th in my model. 4 straight made cuts here, 57th, a second, 11th, and a 52nd. A 35th at Puerto Rico and a 26th at API. Pretty good form coming in. Stats are okay. Average, above average on the field, 58 in all. But, you know, 7,100 price tag. We're talking about guys grind out a cut, give us a chance on the weekend. Poulter fits that model for me. Jason Kokrak, 7,700 feels cheap. Doesn't have the greatest course history here. Miscut, 46th, 47th. I do like that he's gotten better. He's 8th in my putting split model, though. I like that. He's got a 32nd, a 9th, and an 8th coming into this week. Stats are just okay. He struggles around the green. But a 7,700, which I feels like cheap for him a little bit. But again, I always talk about it's relative to the field and all that. But I do think, he had an 8th finish last week. So had this come out today, I think he could have pushed that 8,000 range at least. But again, he's 42nd in my model. I think he's got make the cut plus upside there. Keegan, another guy that's probably priced a little cheaper with the early pricing out, 6,900. His last 4 years here, a 35th, a 60th, a 7th, and a 16th. So he's never missed a cut. We know he struggles putting. That's just something you got to live with. But 6,900, again, make the cut, give us a chance on the weekend like he did last week. He finished 10th, hung in there. I thought, you could say he went full Keegan on Sunday, but everybody was going, shooting horrible. So I can't blame that on him. Tremendous Saturday. I didn't see the Saturday coming after him, to be honest with you. So showing some good form, some good flashes. I like him at $6,900. And then Alex Noren is my last gut filled play. He's 53rd in my model. A 10th and a 17th and a missed cut here. So 2 really good finishes in 2017 and 2018. He's 35th in my putting split model, a 12th at Genesis, a 49th at API. He's okay on stats. That's kind of why he's down here in the 50th range. $7,000, again, make a cut for us, Alex. Give us some upside on the weekend. I like him for that. I don't think he's going to be up there potentially contending, but pretty solid safe play, a good MME play in my opinion. Get you a 6-6. Maybe he's a 6th guy scoring out of that, but at least he's there on the weekend, so I like him as well. Betting segment brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight. As always, use the code GUPS, GUPS, for 100% match up to $50. Give it a try this week for the players. I release plays every night. I do a full tournament on Wednesday. And then when I release my showdown nightly, I also put up my play of the day for Monkey Knife Fight out. If you want to go take a look at that, use the code GUPS, 100% match up to your first deposit for $50. Top 5 bets for me off the, just first look. Willie Z, 80-1, Siwoo, 100-1, Neiman, 60-1, Reed, 40-1, and Jason Day, 40-1. My 2 long shots, Chris Kirk, 125-1. I really, really like Kirk this week. Pretty good history here. 26 on my course fit. Really coming together. He's got an 8th at the API, grinding out. Putter is hit or miss with him, $7,000. But I really think, as far as low price guys, he's one of my favorites on the board this week at 7,000. And I like the 125-1 number. You can top 10 that. I know some of the other, some places like DK and stuff, you can get each ways, maybe up to 8 places. I think that's a good bet. And then the next one's Harmon. My highest ranked low dollar guy, 200-1. I think that's a great each way bet, or even top 20 if you want to go that route. You don't have to lay the 200-1 if you don't think he can win it, but certainly top 20 is in play for him this week. I would think at that number. One and done for me. As always on the Movers and Shakers podcast Wednesday, I will. I'm gonna get it out a little early. Maybe I get it out tomorrow night, give you guys a little more time to listen to it. But for me, on that pod, I always give out my final top 5, of which I'll pick 2 guys from that for 2 of my lineups, and then my third one, I kind of get to pick whoever, without disclosing it. We are playing against each other per se, but my favorite plays. It's a big boy tournament, so there's no reason to save any of these guys. Again, like any of these, I would somewhat map out who you think you may play at the Masters, who you think you may play at the WGCs, who you think you may play at the other 3 majors at the end of the year, the high pools. This is one of, if not the biggest payout of the year. So I know it's always up there, top 3 for sure. So I like DJ. This is a week to unload them if you think they're going to win. If you think they're going to be there to win, Rahm, DJ, Rory, Day, Cantli, JT, X, Schauffele. I like Schauffele. He's gonna be right on that fringe for me. I think he just continues to feels like doesn't get talked about, but then he just always is right up there in ownership DK wise. So I'm always even when I think I'm getting underweight on him, he just winds up being high owned, and he's one of the cheaper 10K guys. So he's the cheapest now that Brooks is out. So I can see him being so chalky that I just go elsewhere. But one and done wise, I don't mind him at all. I think he can win this for sure. He's got a second and a missed cut. Go back to you can do anything here. That's a perfect example. Almost wins it to misses the cut. So anything's live this week is definitely a volatile tournament. Don't forget, join us Wednesday, 5:30 Eastern. Maybe here earlier if Kenny's ready. We'll be amped up, ready to go that night. Lot to do. Kenny is joining. He's committed already, so I'm looking forward to that. For the live E9 for our premium members. If you want to check that out for the first time, go hop on. You get a free trial this week. You at least watch the E9, watch Kenny and I. I think it's one of the better parts of the week for the entire process, because at that point we've kind of got everything done. Him and I don't really talk a lot between he listens to my pod, I listen to his, and then we get to come together right there and kind of just, open can and talk about everything. And then you guys feed us questions as well. It really turns out to be a great, other perception of how things are going, from a person I respect a lot in the industry. So, and obviously a teammate of mine. So it's a great time. Come join us Wednesday night. I'll get that time posted out for sure. If it's not going to be close to the 5:30 Eastern that we try to target. Don't forget about March to the Masters, 30% off with the code Masters. Free trial this week. If you want to join, you get the first 7 days free, and then you'll get charged if you cancel before that. No harm, no foul, but we just want to give you guys a chance to come check out all the hard work we put in, all the capital and resources we've done over the last 5 months now building this thing up. And we're still at the start. There's so much we're adding this year. We're so ahead of schedule, though. It's exciting. Appreciate all your guys' support, our members out there that have supported us since day one, our loyalty members who I continue to take care of. You guys are still on the rock solid intro price, which is probably, I get guys all the time DMing me feeling like they're stealing. I always tell them, I say, hey man, I'm gonna reward the loyalty always. Only way you can give back to us capital wise, is buying merch, supporting us, and those kind of urgencies. So or those kind of areas. That's really, and then just spreading the word. You hit a big screen. I'm not the biggest green screen shot guy, but the industry and people like to see that stuff. It shows success. It shows, but more than not, like even the ones we're putting on the website and stuff, I like to hear the ones about where they talk about the process and getting through it. And it's not just, oh, I luck box into a win. It's like everything you guys have given us and that heart and, passion that each one of my guys put in, Ryan, Tommy, Dan, Scott, OG John, Bobby behind the scenes, ADHD behind the scenes, Todd with MLB. I can't wait for that to show up. He's going to run that show this year, and MLB is going to be on fire. It's a great team and a great culture and a great environment that we have here. Been through our ups and downs for sure, but Kenny, obviously, I can't leave out Kenny. I couldn't be more excited for what we got going over the next, not only 6 weeks, 6 months, but the next years to come, because I think we're going to be one of the better, one of the best in the industry for pure value and culture out of anybody. And I really hope everybody comes to give us a tryout this week for free, literally no obligation. So we're putting our product out there, let you come test it. Tell us what you don't like or what we can improve on. We always take that feedback and we try to do better. But I appreciate all the support. Can't wait to get more out this week. We'll see you Wednesday for E9. I will have the movers and shakers out. I'll try to maybe get out tomorrow night, get out a little early. We'll see how things are going with the development side of stuff we got. We're still trying to get done. I appreciate everybody. You guys have a blessed week and a good evening. Thank you.